Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, to get us started, I guess the first question should be, how did your idea for this business come out?
Okay, well, back in 2015, I was looking for like an exit strategy from my daytime 9 to 5 job. And I came across this idea actually first through a magazine when I realized, what is microblading? What is this new trend that's hitting the market? That's how I was first exposed to it. And then I knew how important my brows are to me, and they still are. So I knew that I thought I kind of hit a really good idea that a lot of women would take to. And that was the beginning.
All right, so I guess the first question I should have asked for the people watching.
Sure.
What is microblading?
Okay, so microblading is a form of tattooing where we literally etch hair strokes onto the client's brow. It gives the illusion of hair, and it lasts between 1 to 3 years, depending on the client's skin. So you can go from no brows to full brows to very long-lasting brows in a matter of an hour and a half, 2 hours.
So what was your key driving force to become an entrepreneur?
Well, I come from a very entrepreneurial family, but it's all male-dominated. So I'm actually the only woman in my family, that goes back 3 generations, that has her own business. And I knew I've always wanted to do something for myself, and I actually gone through quite the list years prior to opening this business, which included a daycare center, a funeral home, a flower shop. I was going to open everything in the book, and I always did a lot of kind of like market research, and it was just kind of like, too many, too saturated, too this, too that, no perishables or whatever. So when I came across this, it was like the perfect fit for me.
So I see what got you motivated to start your business. So what keeps you motivated on a daily basis?
I love what I do. I love working with women. I love working with people and making them feel better about themselves. Aside from the fact that, of course, I've become a mom throughout the process of entrepreneurship. So that's always, a primary reason to kind of keep going. That's my new why I do this. But I genuinely love what I do. And there's not a day that I have to come to work or to my studio and feel like, oh my God, it's such a drag. There isn't.
So I guess with every job, comes management and leadership. So what do you feel, like, how do you feel like, makes you a successful leader? Like, what kind of attributes do you have? What's your approach to leadership?
Within in the business with employees?
Yeah.
Well, when I started, it was just me. And then, like any entrepreneur, you start by yourself, you wear all these hats, you're HR, you're payroll, you're this, you're that, you're everything. And you get to the point where you're overwhelmed and you don't do everything well. Something always takes a hit. And for me, it was customer service. So when I felt myself not responding, soon enough, or couldn't get to everyone, or forgot to get back to someone because I have to do a service, at that point I had to hire a few people. So now I have 2 people on staff, and a social media manager and a virtual assistant. So I think leadership for me just means sort of leading by example and having good time management as well. I think getting together, we speak twice a week, the entire kind of crew and group, and the virtual assistant's in Texas, which is interesting, and it still works really, really, really well. But I think it's because I trust them, but I also respect them, and I kind of let them work in their own zones of genius versus micromanaging, which is what I think works best for us here.
Okay. What kind of advice would you give to somebody who has aspirations of being an entrepreneur, but nothing tangible to drive them?
Everyone has to have a why. We all have to have a why. So I think if someone has an idea or just wants to be an entrepreneur, that wanting to is not enough. So I think you have to get to the point where I want to do this because X, Y, and Z. Or I want to get somewhere. I want to, do it for someone or for myself. Really, that should be your own driving force. Just you. Why do you want to do it? You need to have a why. Do you want to maybe move to a better neighborhood? Do you maybe want to live a different lifestyle? Do you want to provide a better lifestyle, for your children. Everyone has a different reason, but I think finding your why is essential.
So, if you had the chance to start your career over again, including this, the stuff that you did before,
Yes.
what would you do differently?
I would have quit sooner.
Can you help me on that?
I would have quit my 9 to 5 sooner. I would have quit my 9 to 5 sooner, but I don't regret working in corporate America.
Mm-hmm.
I think just having coming from a business or finance background, I have a finance degree, and then working in corporate America in private equity for a pretty long time, also real estate for a little bit, gave me the knowledge for all of the back end. So I think that's why I haven't had to, do a loan out or ask for, getting investors, because every dollar that I make is, it's capital, and it's going towards growing the business. So yeah, I guess in hindsight, I would have started sooner.
So you have some stuff that you gained from corporate America that would propel you forward. Do you think? Can you name any bad habits that you took from corporate America that you have to get rid of?
Oh, that's a really good question. Bad habits from corporate America. Oh man, I have to think about that one.
I mean, for me, for example, when I was I'm not an entrepreneur, but when I was working for ACS, I had to get out really fast to get to the family. So I was really a get things done kind of person. So I would forget. I would be in the habit of not letting people know where I am on a project. So now where I'm at now, I'm in a smaller team. I still get things done, but sometimes I get emails saying, "Hey, where are we at this project?"
Yeah. It's almost like going too fast.
Yeah.
I don't know if the same would apply for me, but I think I've always worked in a group atmosphere in corporate America. So something was always kind of delegated to someone, and my team also had help. So I think for me, going from a team to solo was just hard. We were almost kind of spoiled. So I wouldn't say it was a bad habit, but we had a lot of support. So going from that to just being a one-man show, I think that was really tricky. I think in hindsight, I would love to have a position in corporate America where it was kind of just me working more independently. I think it would have trained me better towards where I am right now, versus going from a group setting to just myself.
So, if you could name, maybe 3 skills that you think is very necessary for somebody to be a successful entrepreneur?
Okay. I would say consistency, being a consistent person, whatever anything you do. I would say having good time management is essential. And 3 would be being organized within your finances. Having a business sounds really, really good. Most of us don't make it past the first year, and it's because we don't plan accordingly, we don't spend accordingly, and we don't plan our days accordingly. Just the time just always gets ahead of us, and the money, and just, I would say those 3 things, yeah.
So, I know that before you said everybody needs a why, so for people who don't have the resources to start their venture, what kind of activities do you think would build great habits for them to take part in?
Well, I actually activities or just engagements or just okay. I think that one of my favorite things to even go to now, I guess it's a shameless plug. It's not my plug, but Google Digital Coaches has workshops every month geared towards small business owners or aspiring small business owners, and it's free. And it's at their office, and it's once a month. And I was actually at one last week, and it's awesome. It's just, you can go there and ask so many questions. You build community with a lot of entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, and it just goes to show there are just so many resources out there to help people, and it costs nothing. It costs a Metro card, and you show up and you just gain all this knowledge, and you eat for free and drink, and you ask questions. So it's really great, and it's great.
Yeah.
So there's always somewhere to start. You have to just obviously find those events. You have to kind of be connected. But there are resources.
That's good. I think I might actually go. So I love reading.
Okay.
What business-related book has inspired you the most, or what is your favorite book?
My favorite book is, I have a few. My current favorite is The Power of Focus. The Power of Focus is really good, and The New Earth. The New Earth is more so about mindset, which I think is the most important thing in business. Just setting up, like it starts in the morning, like having a good morning routine where it kind of sets your day up to be, a successful day, or saying or affirmations. It can be journaling or meditating. It could be different things for all of us. But I think starting off your day on the right foot is really important. So that book really sort of kind of pushes you to ask yourself, like, why am I here? What's my purpose? And I think once you find your purpose, you can really kind of move forward in your projects and entrepreneurship and whatever you want to do for yourself. And The Power of Focus is more business and setting financial goals and working towards that versus mindset.
Okay.
So I would say those two.
So with every new company comes funding. So how difficult was the funding part of your business and getting yourself off the ground?
Yeah, so I, no venture capital here. I started my business with, I want to say $3,000, which at the time was a ton of money. I wiped out all my savings and training to become an artist. And then what I had left was $3,000, and that was enough to get me a studio, pay for a few months rent, get inventory, and some promotion, Instagram ads, $50, who knows. And that was it. That's how I started.
So you did mention Instagram. So my next question is, how do you market your business, and what tactics do you find to be the most successful?
For me, because I am a service-based business and within the beauty industry, my tactic, as far as content, videos. Video content is really important. People like to kind of get the close-up, okay, this is what it looks like. It went from this to this. They want to see the video. Also, a lot of behind the scenes as well. I have a pretty large email list. So staying engaged with my clients and always asking for feedback and things like that is something that they really like. But as far as Instagram, my tactic would be video content, before and afters. That's what kind of gets me the most engagement.
Okay. So with engagement comes the customer. So how do you build a successful customer base?
Well, for me, from social media, turning the lead into a customer, or once it's already a customer.
What's that customer like? How do you maintain that relationship?
For me, it's not difficult because I took the time to create an experience for them when they come here. So when they come here and they feel pampered and they feel like they're talking to a girlfriend or someone that they've known for a long time, that bond is already set. And then I have the memory of an elephant. So I'll see them a year from now and I'll be like, oh, how's your kid? Or how's your husband? Or how was your whatever? They're like, oh my God, you remember. So I think taking the time to get to know your client when they step foot in the door, whether they're buying something from you online, sending a thank you, a handwritten note if you're mailing a product to them, or if you're providing a service, really, really, really good experience is what I think kind of just hooks them. And they just come back and they follow me on my personal page on social media, and they're all like girlfriends. So it escalates pretty quickly here. But yeah, that's me.
So you set a good tone for your customers. So when it comes to within the organization, how's the culture and how did you go about setting it?
Well, we're not massive yet, but I am opening a location in Westchester, in White Plains. So now that becomes more of a real thing for me, okay, culture for going from location to location, hopefully maybe next year even franchising. I would say the style is young and millennial and chic and kind of well put together, but not stuffy and stark and medical-ish. The shop is not that all white kind of look that you're expecting when you're gonna go get your face tattooed or something. But yeah, just kind of like just jovial and fun and respectful and just kind of caring. And again, it's a really kind of intimate experience. So not feeling like crowded or rushed. You know, the client comes in, they should feel taken care of and as if we're taking our time, which we are, which we do. So that's really important.
So when it came to opening, I guess, this location, you know, can you think of some, you know, pain points you had in like, you know, starting everything and, you know, what you learned from those to like, you know, to dodge those same pain points of opening a new location?
Yeah, so this location in particular, because it's on the ground floor and it has a lower level, pain point number one, never agree on a space that has a basement. I had 3 floods the first 3 months, which caused me to close down the shop for weeks at a time. So that was a learning experience. So I think going forward, I won't ever entertain a space that has a workspace in the lower level. And I think that's a kind of a learning curve that, you know, I didn't know, you know, real estate, I wasn't kind of disclosed to me. Things can happen when you're on a lower level ever. So yeah, if anyone watching this is thinking about getting a space that's like underground, don't do it.
So how do you come up with, like, what's your process for coming up with like new ideas?
Well, for me, ideas are like services because I'm service based.
Yeah, I guess that could be.
Or just like my entrepreneurial kind of just brain, period.
Yeah, entrepreneurial brain.
Okay. Well, good question. So I'm thinking about maybe next year venturing into like some kind of like mentorship for small business owners. Only because I feel like there's such a need for people to know about resources or, you know, free events and things like that. There's so much that I feel like I know that I would love to share with, you know, a community. So I'm looking to, you know, help more people and pay it forward and just have more impact. Because yeah, I'm here and I love it here and I'm doing brows all day or whatever, but I don't think I have. I'm kind of leaving my mark mark the size of the mark that I would like to leave on this earth before I go. So I'll be mentoring sometime next year. Look out for that.
So, what would you say one of your biggest fears are in business, and how do you manage that fear?
The fear is, like, what if I go out of business? That's always like, what if someone opens a shop next door and just like, you know, runs me to the ground? I think anyone in business feels that way. Like there's really no security, and that's what the 9 to 5 gives you. The check is coming, you know, every 2 weeks as long as you show up and do your work. There's no security. You know, you can be here for a few years, and maybe, you know, most small businesses don't make it past year 1. I think it's like 50% or 60% like fizzle at year 1, and then it's like a big chunk by year 2, and then it's like if you make it past year 2, you'll make it to year 5. Then from year 5, you probably fizzle again, and you may not make it to year 10. There's so many like small milestones. But yeah, just a fear of not being able to kind of create. Yeah, that's worrisome. But you know, the trend is growing, and I'm in the beauty industry, which is ever growing, I would say. People always want to look good, right? So I think I'm in a good spot, I hope.
So, what so far has been your favorite, most satisfying moment of business?
At work, I work because I do, like I said, I do microwave. I look forward to appointments with my cancer survivors that have lost all of their hair. So I think those are my most kind of impactful sessions, because I'm bringing back confidence and a look to these women that have lost a lot of, you know, their feminine features, I would say, that mean a lot to them. So those are my favorite appointments. Those are like the times I work where I'm like, why do this? So
I guess this could be my last question. You said you came from a family of entrepreneurs. So how has, you know, your ventures been received, you know, by, I guess, your family? From the beginning, and like how it is now?
So most of my uncles, I'm Dominican, so yes, insert stereotype here. They all own bodegas. All of a few of my aunts own hair salons in Dominican Republic, and his BrowZing was not well received. You know, I think as first generation American and as the oldest, I guess the oldest grandchild born here, there's always a ton of pressure on me for my cousins to follow and look up to me. So when you go from a really secure job in corporate America to now you're doing eyebrows for a living, you know, are you insane? And for a long time, my father especially was like very upset, like, oh my God, like you paid for you to go to school, this is what we paid for, this and that, you know, it was a sacrifice. But I believed in it, and I stuck to it, and you know, it's a modern beauty trend that I don't think our parents or grandparents really understand how millennials are latching onto these trends. And they're just not exposed to things that we're exposed to. So it's our job to kind of like, you know what, I see where this is going, you know, and kind of just take their advice with a grain of salt. But you know, over time, I mean, now they're like, wow, this is incredible. So if anyone out there is sort of doubtful of their venture or their family kind of like frowning upon it, I would say just go for it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I definitely can relate to that. I've had a conversation with my father, and my experience was basically just growing up where they really just want you to get the safe job, just the benefits, pension,
exactly.
And honestly, it could make it miserable at times.
100%.
So, thank you for sharing.
Of course, thank you for having me.
And I guess that's it.
Okay, that was great.